Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out. And there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out their website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'll be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion. And today we need to discuss the fallout from Boruto chapter 75 and how this chapter was an absolute game changer of a chapter itself. While we've rightfully been focusing on Shibai Otsutsuki, the lone Otsutsuki clan member who ascended to god status in the Naruto world, transcending towards another dimension in the process of doing so, there's something we need to put our focus on, because this new info that we got dropped major foreshadowing for us to digest, and we need to discuss if this is a red herring, which I don't think is going to be the case, and we need to discuss what the potential ramifications of this will be later on down the line, because this is a game changer. So Shibai Otsutsuki's consciousness might have very well transcended to another dimension, but his body is still left behind, and that opens up the door for Code or somebody else who might be trying to harvest a chakra fruit to get their hands on the body. When we look at the manga chapter itself, Amado's words really stand out here. He said that Shibai Otsutsuki was no longer among us and that his body was left behind, but most importantly, he said that he can't say if he was killed or not. He only said that he had no idea what truly happened to Shibai Otsutsuki, and based off the information, the likely outcome is that he got to a point where he no longer needed a body or karma. He ascended to a different dimension and discarded the body itself. Now, the reason why this is so important is that if you use your doctorate, I know all you guys have in anime bullshit management services, you can see exactly where this is going. Shibai's body might be what's used to be a substitute for Boruto Kawaki being fed to the Ten Tails. Up until this point, we as a community, we've all wondered if Code's goal was to get his hands on a chakra fruit, one or two things had happened. Number one, he feeds Boruto or Kawaki to the Ten Tails, or number two, he pulls a Kaguya and rips off half their body and feeds it to the Ten Tails before they bleed to death, which we can assume is what happened given the situation with Kage and Ishiki. However, there were always problems with this line of thinking. Any one of you guys with that doctorate and anime bullshit knows exactly what I'm talking about. Nobody realistically thought Boruto was going to get fed to the Ten Tails, not unless the boy somehow swallowed his morals and planted the karma seal on someone else, which couldn't be Code, just given, as Amado said, Code would never wait around for the karma to extract, and there's no guarantee Boruto placing karma on Code would work since Code already has a karma. Kawaki, there was always a stronger case for Kawaki, just given Momoshiki's warning to Kawaki that if he keeps letting himself get used by others, in particular Amado, he's going to get fed to the Ten Tails one day, since we know Momoshiki has power to see into the future to a limited amount, but we don't know if Momoshiki was speaking something that he saw or if this was merely an observation he was making in a tongue-in-cheek fashion. Just given Boruto's a sequel to Naruto and Kawaki is a member of the main cast, and he's arguably going to be the co-main character alongside Boruto in part 2 of the story, when it shifts from being the Naruto and Boruto story to just being the Boruto story. The plot armor is going to be really damn thick for Kawaki if he ascends to that co-main character status, like it looks like that's what's going to happen, and it will pretty much betray the soul of the series itself to have a child who is a victim of society and close to the main character itself in that co-main character status not be saved by the end of the character's arc. Killing Kawaki would be the same as killing Naruto. An edgier shonen would have pulled the trigger, but Boruto being a sequel to one of the biggest gateway shonen that have ever existed in the form of Naruto is not going to go this route. Option 2 felt very realistic to a lot of people because there was enough to imply that this was the route that Kaguya had taken, and it avoided the whole idea of directly killing Boruto or Kawaki by having one of them go snack to the Ten Tails as a whole. However, this right here was not by mistake. A fully grown Otsutsuki who just happened to ascend to god status and who happened to consume hundreds if not thousands of chakra fruits, killing billions of people in the process, if not more, over the course of a millennia. That's as good of a main ingredient to be used for 10 tails to cultivate a chakra fruit as any, And there's a strong argument that chakra fruit might actually be more potent using his body. The only question is how long will it be before Code learns of its existence? That's the one thing we don't actually know. We don't know where Shibai's body is yet, only that it was in a place that Amato could access the body to harvest the DNA to transplant Shibai's powers to Code, Ada, and Damon, each of whom have Shinjutsu, and Amato specifically said in the manga by transplanting Shibai's DNA, you transfer one or more of his powers to the recipient. That means it's either in Kara's hideout somewhere only known to Amato, or it's in another dimension that can only be accessed via space-time ninjutsu by an Otsutsuki. Regardless, there's a body somewhere that can be accessed, and if it can be accessed, it can be fed to the juubi. However, to play devil's advocate here, because I know there's going to be somebody who writes this in the comment section without actually watching the video, and to that one person, I just caught you with your pants down. I think it's worth noting that if this could have been possible, then why didn't Ishiki just do this in the first place? For that, there's a couple of reasons for it. Jigen's body wasn't the ideal use of resurrection. We all know that. That's the reason why he killed so many people looking for children who could be compatible with Ishiki's Koma seal. What good is it to feed Shibai's body to a Ten-Tails? Then Ishiki has a vessel in Jigen who already can't sustain Ishiki's chakra. What do you think would happen if he made Jigen eat the chakra fruit, or if he even shrank the chakra fruit down, shoved it into Jigen's ear, and then allowed Ishiki to eat it that way, because Ishiki was inside of Jigen physically the same way Plankton was inside of somebody in SpongeBob controlling the body. The body would basically explode if this happened, especially from a chakra fruit being consumed that would be this potent. Then you have the issue of not having another vessel to reincarnate into, which is why you needed Kawaki. However, let's throw all of that to the side right now. So Boruto is a sequel to Naruto, a series that's made its own fair share of retcons to the story before, just in the 72 volumes of the Naruto manga, from Kakashi supposedly graduating from the academy at 5 years old and making Chunin at the age of 6. But then we see the retcon in Obito's flashback where Kakashi's clearly older than 6 years old, and we know Obito graduated from the academy at 9. It did not look like there was a 3-year gap between when Kakashi graduated and when Obito graduated. We know that Obito made Chunin at age 11, but Obito's flashback made it appear as if there was at best a 1 or 2 year difference between when Kakashi became a Chunin and when Obito became a Chunin. Unless you think that flashback was a whole 5 years between Kakashi, Rin, and Obito taking the Chunin exams together, and Obito and Rin were just so untalented of losers that it took them 5 whole years to make Chunin after Kakashi. That's a huge red flag there. However, let's just throw that out. Let's go even further here. What about Orochimaru being stated to have left Konoha directly after Minato's main Hokage? But then the retcon is made where we see he didn't actually leave the village until a few years after Minato's death, because he's working en route and he's been sticking around long enough for Kabuto to be in service to the Root organization. Ishiki not doing the obvious thing here isn't as different as anything we got in, I believe, volume 27 of Naruto. Naruto was passed out at the Valley of the End, and there was enough time for Zetsu to just slither his way down there and get Naruto before Kakashi showed up. Akatsuki did not know at the time you can't seal the Biju out of order. And that also includes Zetsu, since he was a primary member of the Akatsuki at that time, because if he would have known, he would have told Obito, yo fam, you can't do this. Obito then would have went over to Nagato and pushed Nagato from his wheelchair over into the corner and said, hey fam, you might not want to do this right here. Don't tell the Akatsuki to seal these 2 Biju during the 2.5 year time skip. You could have avoided the Gidomazu statue almost being destroyed. Just given that information, you can conclude that Zetsu didn't know it. Either Zetsu was really ignorant, or that was just something that was not thought of at the time when that information was told to us. I love Naruto as a franchise, but there are times where you can tell that certain aspects of the story, they were winged, but there are still more than enough times where there's a lot of well thought out storylines and development to make the story that we all know and love as a legendary series. Even though you could say, hey, this is like the most elementary gateway shonen ever, is still a legendary series just because of the impact it's had on not just my childhood, my adulthood, but your childhood and your adulthoods. It's impacted millions of people. I wouldn't think too deeply into this though, but what I will say is that there's a possibility that this ends with someone other than Code getting the chakra fruit. I don't think it'll be Momoshiki controlling Boruto and going snack on the chakra fruit. I don't think that's gonna happen, just based off of the Momotaro folktales, which I've done a whole video explaining to you why. When Momoshiki and Boruto began working together, you should not be throwing your laptop or your tablet or your phone against the wall. And I don't see why Kawaki would shift towards wanting to consume a chakra fruit either. Though, to be fair, there's a lot about Kawaki's future character arc we do not know. However, sometimes the most obvious answer is the correct one, so it could actually be Code. Maybe this is Code, and this is his way forward towards becoming the big bad guy of the series. That being said, I'm curious to know you guys' thoughts about this. While you think that over, click here to watch my Primal Devils and Chainsaw Man Explained video, or click here to watch this Naruto Explained video.